All right, go.
Hey, Ground Zero, how you doing out there, man? It's a great Saturday, and we are here at Fort Bluff, up near Dayton, Tennessee, at the Element24 fall retreat with our good friend Travis Uptegrove. He has put this amazing weekend together, and we've been up here. Me and Chuck just finished spending a little range therapy out here, but
Man, was it good?
yeah, it was. It
A lot
was.
of guys shooting a lot of guns.
A lot of guys. That's right, man. We had Pastor Ivy Mars here last night. My goodness,
Incredible.
So we just wanted to come on and say hello and kind of give you another little introduction to Element24 and to what they do and to what Travis is doing in this ministry and what God is doing through his ministry, and also make you a little bit more aware of this retreat. It's going to be another year before we're up here again, but you can register today probably. So Travis, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
What are we doing?
We
We're
have
not
no
sleeping.
idea.
We're not sleeping. We're not.
We are eating.
So what are we doing? We are eating. We're
Yes.
eating really well.
Yes.
Man, we're just gathering guys together. Really, just to come together. Obviously for the obvious purpose of worshiping God and spending time in that. Just to gather guys together to be real with one another.
Yeah.
And that's really a big focus this weekend. We're going to jump into more of that with our fire pits tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's we do a lot.
Yeah, he just mentioned the fire pits, and we got here. Chuck and I made it in time last night for the worship and for the fire pits. And I'm going to tell you something. You get up here in this kind of environment, just out in God's creation in the nature, and get a bunch of guys around a fire pit,
Mm-hmm.
just opening up
Absolutely.
and sharing with the things they got going on, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, it's strong.
It's been mind blowing every year. Just watching these guys just open up every time around these fire pits. 9 years into it, and I'm still amazed every year at how the response we get from these guys. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. We were sitting around the fire pit last night, and one of the things that kind of really struck us all is that sometimes guys need the right environment before those walls will.
That's right.
Them. Hey, look, we're screwed up.
Yeah.
We're just screwed up. Men are screwed up.
That's it.
We're just screwed up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look up "screwed up" in the dictionary. It's got our picture.
Yeah, our three of us.
Yeah.
Us right here.
Three
This
students.
picture you're seeing right now,
That's
that's going to be the new Wikipedia picture. But no, it's, men sometimes are hard. They're hard nuts to crack.
That's
man.
right.
And so, you get into these fire pits and you listen to the stories and you listen to what people are going through, and it's like, man, I'm going through that too.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that's going through that, and somebody in the group may have already come out the other side of that and say, hey, look, I went through that, and here's how I came through that.
Mm-hmm.
And now let me walk with you. Let's walk together as we go through that.
Yeah. For me, there's something about just staring into the flames that just creates that environment. And you got a bunch of guys, and kind of you can see their face lit up, and it's just a really cool environment. And it's just, man, it just takes all the pressure and all the stress out. And for me, that's the magic to it there.
These guys like to, I don't know, it takes away some of the vulnerability of it.
Yeah.
They just, it's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Maybe they feel that freedom to just kind of express themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, what's amazing is we've done this for enough years is, we'll get guys that are new to the fire pits, and as they start talking through, there's these guys have been like, I've been here a few years. And,
Yeah.
And just watching them pour into it, and it's men building up men is what it is. It's really cool.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, we had Pastor Ivy Marsh here last night.
Wow.
And he was talking about, the promises of God. This is the thing that struck me from his message last night, and all the promises of God that are in his word, but we just got to go get them.
Yeah.
We can't sit back and wait for them to come to us. And he said there were, over 5,000. How many do you know? And I was like, dang, I know a few, but I don't know 5,000.
I got really convicted.
Yes,
over that.
I did too.
Man, I thought I knew some stuff, but I suck.
I got some work to do.
Back to original definition.
Yeah,
We suck.
Yeah. And then this morning, our speaker this morning,
Emmanuel Escobar.
Emmanuel Escobar, dude, what a fireball He was, man, and just just talking about being obedient and how God, that's what He's seeking is our obedience. Not anything else. And if we do that, all things kind of fall into place for us. And He used the story of King Saul and Samuel and how that whole story played out when Saul, God regretted making Saul king. So, and I guess tomorrow we're going to have Pastor Jake Ward,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I'm not familiar with him, but I got this funny feeling, Travis.
He's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a regular here, and he's incredible.
yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about the worship leader that we had this weekend.
Wow, Nate Ridgway, man! I mean, just what a blessing that he came along the way he did to be a part of it. And he's got a lot going on right now. I mean, he's in the middle of recording an album right now, so he's back and forth between here and down at Muscle Shoals, and then taking time to run up here into this and put this set together. But here's what strikes me about Nate that's amazing is he took 2 days out of work just to go pray over the worship set, and I mean, he puts his heart into everything he does. And we met for lunch about 2.5 hours one day, and at the end of that lunch, I was like, man, like it doesn't matter if he can sing. Let's just this guy.
He can hum for all I hear.
He just loves Jesus. Let's get him on the stage. And man, he's just the whole atmosphere, the energy of the worship. Just, I mean, from the get go, has just been incredible. And then, guys, I mean, it's the thing. The first night, a lot of times guys are reserved. We didn't have that. I mean, that first night, right again, it's just guys just getting right into it. It was incredible. He's been amazing.
Yeah,
amazing worship leader.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do. I agree. I think the worship really set the stage for what went on last night with Pastor IV, and then what went on around the fire pits. That's what we saw in our group around the fire pit. It was like instantly, like we were comfortable together.
Yeah.
And there was no reservation about really digging into the junk.
Yeah.
That we have going on in our lives. So it was just really cool.
Randall and I were baptized by fire pit last night.
Baptized by fire pit? At least by smoke.
That's right.
Well, that's true. We had the rain come in.
Yeah.
God just baptized everybody all at once last night.
But it was so cool though. One thing that we were talking about having a little bit of range therapy, and I'm getting a whiff of gunpowder. I think that's what that is. I smell. But there was hiking. There's this tremendous hike to the falls, and if you've never been up here, it's just beautiful up here. There was fishing. There was horseshoes and cornhole and different activities, just depending on what the guys want to do, where they can just chill out, man, and just spend some time out here in the beautiful day we got today. So, man, I tell you what, I and I know what you're going to say, but I appreciate you doing this because there's 147 men who are going to be different when they leave tomorrow afternoon. And that's my prayer. Is that 147 guys to leave here changed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, the cool thing is, with the downtime, having what shooting range or fishing or whatever it is, the cool thing is you're watching these guys that sat in these fire pits together.
Yeah.
And now they've got this free time, and you're seeing these conversations continue on through the free time and the connections being made. And we've seen so many small groups that have come out of that, guys that just connect through the fire pit and through small, and they stay in touch, and they end up starting small groups or doing life together, and it's amazing. It's so cool to be a part of it.
Yeah. Kind of when our fire pit was together last night, and then the storm came through, the rain came through. Everybody just kind of scattered because it kind of came on pretty quick, and so we weren't able to recover all of our group. But we ended up over on one of the front porches with a whole different group and a whole new conversation. And it was just so cool. All the men are just so engaged, which is what men need to do. Yeah. Men need to engage with other men to help them deal with the stuff and the junk that we got going on in our lives.
Yeah. And guys won't do that unless the environment's set right.
Yeah.
And so men, I like when we first drove onto the property. Well, we drove to the wrong place first
when we got here.
Yeah, and Randall's like, Travis lied. He's not even here.
I might invite you guys or something. Just every once in a while, just send you an address.
Just see if we'll show up, right?
But you could feel it when we drove onto the property. You could feel like like an expectation or something of that nature, and it was. man, it's just amazing
Yeah.
to watch guys, and if there's wives that are watching this, man, send your husbands,
Yeah.
send your husbands.
You know, we were talking with one of the guys last night, and he said that his wife came up with her phone and said, "See this? See this? You need to be at this."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah, and that's the thing when you get the feedback that we've had from the wives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because guys, they can be like, oh yeah, man, it impacted me. But when you get that feedback from their family,
Yes.
that's when I mean, it's genuine life change. And,
Yeah.
and there was one of the wives just on Facebook the other day just put something about a retreat, and she's put #marriage changer, and just something that simple. But man, it meant the world to me. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, this is life change happening. So yeah, it's amazing. It's just cool to be part of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of give us your heart behind this.
Yeah.
Man, where to begin?
Do I need to go get some tissues?
Yeah, man. I've been crying all
Here's my
weekend. I know. I'm a big crybaby, but that's all right. Man, the thing is, what kind of drove me to this is I was like a lot of men. I was serving in church. I was doing things. I looked good on Sunday mornings at church, and then I had tragedy in my life, as happens to a lot of people. And it was through those moments that God broke me down, and I kept trying to do everything on my own. It was, I'm a man. I can push through this.
That's right.
I don't need people's help. And the more I did that, the more I failed. And eventually, with some coaching from my wife, I got into a men's group. And for the first time, I had guys that were genuine. And this wasn't a men's group of we open our Bible and read a verse, and we talk about how great our life is, and we talked about real struggles and real battles.
Right.
And man, it had such an impact on me. And then we went on a backpacking trip, and it was same as around these fire pits, and these guys were being so genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really what kind of got us started. I said, man, we need more of this. We need another place for guys to come and do this. And and then just watching what God has done through it has just been amazing. I'm like a little giddy kid opening Christmas presents every year when I hear the stories. When you get to go and see these couples that their marriage is on the rocks, and now they're having an amazing marriage, or you see these guys that were battling addictions and they're not anymore. It's such a cool thing to be a part of. It's it's exciting, motivates you to continue on with it.
Yeah, we talked this. I don't know if it was last night or this morning though. It may have been this morning, about how you've got this ministry over here and this ministry over here,
Mhm.
this ministry over here, and you don't touch mine and I won't touch yours.
That's right.
And I don't know how many different ministries are represented here. A dozen, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the point is those barriers and those boundaries have been completely knocked down. I mean, we're looking to come as a unified force for the hearts of men.
That's right.
And, that's what's wrong with our nation.
Yeah, it's when you look at having Pastor Ivy come up here last night from I'm4, and then you hear from Ground Zero, and then we got Element24, and we got Men in the Arena, one of the representatives here, and just the different men's ministry leaders that are here, and pastors that are here and investing in their men and doing it. I think this is where we're going to start seeing that real change.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, it blows my mind when you have guys that have these ministries. Okay, we're going to bring some guys to yours, and I'll take some guys to yours, and then just simple things like this.
Right.
Jumping on here and let you guys let me jump on here and just talk about what we do. It's what it's about, because ultimately, Element24 is not going to do anything for people's salvation. It's Jesus himself.
Right.
A title means nothing. Ground Zero means nothing.
But it's bringing them into an
Yeah.
environment
Yeah.
to get them moving in that direction, and to let them see the love of Christ.
It's a form of discipleship.
Sure, absolutely.
And I think we miss out doing that. We get so caught up in, did John Doe over here, he prayed his prayer, he got his little get out of hell free card, and now we have no other responsibility to them, and that's a disservice to them.
Yeah.
Because God called us to be disciples and to disciple people. That's what the church is about. So what's cool is organizations like yours, things like yours, outside of the church, are willing to invest the time in these men and develop. Man, I tell you what, I'm not arrived at all. I don't have it all together. I suck,
Yeah.
a lot.
That's what when we haven't done Ground Zero shirts yet. That's what it's going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we suck.
That might be our motto next year. 2022, we suck.
That's right.
And so do you.
Yeah, so do you. We put that on the back as we walk away. And so do you.
So, but yeah, so, it's, you got to get outside the walls of the church.
Mhm.
So many guys, and I was one of those guys before I got saved. I'm like, man, I'm not going to walk into the church. Number one, I might, internally combust, or the church is going to fall down on
That's
me.
what I was worried about, the church
Yeah.
falling or burning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get into groups like this and settings like this, and it's like, man, we're all screwed up together.
They are.
But you know what? But God wants to do a work in that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to stay that way.
Yeah.
And He uses people like yourself, like Pastor Ivy, to help people move out of those places, to help men move out of those places where they're just stuck.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. But, and you mentioned this last night during the worship time here. There is nothing to me more amazing than a room full of men worshiping openly,
yes.
without being bridled, just free and open worship.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so good, and that's what God deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I got up this morning off my hour and a half of sleep on my wet hammock, and I went over and get coffee, and all they had was decaf left because everybody stormed the coffee. And I was dragging in here, and as soon as that worship started, and everybody came to life, it's just, this adrenaline rush that you get of, just this excitement, the anticipation that you're about what God's going to continue to do through this weekend. Woke me up real quick. So.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. It's really cool too to hear, some of the guys, and this is our first time here with you for this weekend. But to hear some of the guys who have been here for multiple years talk about the growth and how it started out with 8 or 9 men, and then this weekend now we got 147 men gathered here on this mountain, man, worshiping the Lord and being discipled.
Yeah.
And discipling one another and sharpening one another.
It's in growth wise, not just in the numbers, but in the maturity and the spiritual maturity of those guys that have gone through this journey.
Yeah.
And some of these guys have been with us for the full 9 years. When we started out with just a few guys in the woods, and just seeing the development of them and the way that they've learned and adapted to pour into these guys and grow with them. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, around the fire pits, and there's just really nothing off limits, man. We talked about substance abuse, we talked about drug, alcohol abuse, pornography, adultery, you name it.
Yeah.
That people are either struggling with right now or have struggled with, and still stuck in that past.
Yeah.
What Pastor Ivy talked about last night, some of y'all need to let go of your past.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was one thing that I heard in particular last night from one of the guys was, I'm having a hard time letting go of that. I'm having a hard time getting past my past. And, and it is a real struggle. That's one that I dealt with, during my journey. Not only getting past that and putting it behind me, but forgiving myself for the junk that I did, and so it's a real deal. But to hear other men come around someone that's struggling with that and really speak encouragement into them and speak wisdom into them and speak God's truth into them, Scripture, not just their own ideas, but Scripture, is just so cool.
Absolutely.
Just so cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, we see these guys, we talk about that, and that's one thing we talk about around the fire pits is, it's easy in this environment right now to be like, oh yes, I'm here and I'll let it go. But, to really, really push and challenge these guys to make that commitment. When you walk off this mountain, you're back in the real world. And, but you can see the fire and the passion of these guys they're ready. They're ready to go back and do it. And I can't wait over the next year. We come back next year to talk about the stories of things that happened from this year.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, and you mentioned at the end of service last night about how you take care of these things on the mountain, you get rid of it. But once you get off the mountain, you have to maintain connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it. You can't do it by yourself. Because you will fall right back into it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you want to know how I know that? Yeah, I watched him do
I
it.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Hey, man, I appreciate you
Yeah,
helping
yeah.
me out on that.
You're smarter than you look, I swear. Oh,
But no, you have to have those connections
Yeah.
with guys. Even look, even if it's someone out of state, just phone call, text message, whatever.
We
You know,
had a
stay
guy.
connected.
We had a guy in Northern Illinois that joined a small group from Southern Alabama last year, and he would every Wednesday when they did their Bible study, they set up the laptop and they would Zoom him in.
Yeah,
I love it.
Because it's a connection they made. And those guys are back together. You know, it's cool to see. You know, now they're back together
Yeah,
this
In
year.
person.
Yeah, and seeing how they've both grown over the last year, it's so cool.
yeah, that's an intentionality.
Exactly.
That's being intentional.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, one thing you want to talk about the heart of our ministry. One thing that I've struggled with a lot is I've been to some amazing conferences, and you hear these great speakers and the great worship, and then at the end they release you, and you're like, now what?
What do I do with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's one thing we really want to be intentional about is we want men to connect here. We want guys to leave here with relationships, and you know, I mean, honestly, one of the things that excites me about as much as anything here is when you see guys swapping phone numbers.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah.
all right, there's a connection being made. These are guys that are going to follow through, and so yeah, it's huge. It's huge. You have to stay connected.
Yeah.
When you walk off here.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. So, you know, one other thing I want to talk about real quick is IM4.
Yeah.
You know, you can register now.
Mhm.
It's March of next year. Like I was telling Jay this morning out here after the baptisms. Oh man, we
had.
oh wait,
baptisms.
yeah. Let's not gloss over that.
Let's do it.
Wow.
Oh,
You guys are going to make me cry again.
I know there's one in particular you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Or if you need me to, I'll talk about it. But I know there's one in particular that's very
I can
special.
start and you can finish.
Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Man,
Here's my sleeve.
yeah, I mean, you both have it. You know, my 17-year-old son got baptized this morning, and man, his
Praise
journey,
God.
his life, seeing that young man become who God has crafted him to be, and to make that decision. And here's the cool part: last year, he came forward during an altar call, and he had given his life to Christ before. And I asked him afterwards, I said, "You know, what drew you to come forward?" And he said, "Well, I've given my life to him, but I've never really given him my past."
Mm-hmm.
So that was right here
Wow.
in this right here at Fort Bluff. Well, then he came and worked here for 10 weeks this summer at Fort Bluff, and they poured into him, and we saw so much life change in him here. So he decided, you know, this is where I made the commitment to change my life. This is where a big part of my life changed. So this is where I want to get baptized. So yeah, me and the worship leader got to baptize him this morning. But just, oh man, what a powerful moment. But here's the awesome thing about this is it was him and 3 of his buddies that got baptized together. You know, and these are 16, 17-year-old
Right.
young men that,
Yeah.
you know, we're already putting that root in them, you know, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do because, you know, that's what we want to see. We want to see these guys already, by the time they graduate high school, they're already so connected with godly young men that, you know, it's normal. Like when they leave home that it's like, okay, well, I got to find a men's ministry somewhere. I got to get plugged in.
Yeah.
Because so many times we leave them in youth and then we say, okay, well, now that you're 18, go be a man. And
Yeah.
they're just,
Yeah. How do I do that?
yeah. I don't, we're trying to figure it out. We suck.
You know, and that's one of the things I think that's pretty common in a lot of churches, Travis, is you have, you know, children's ministry and you have youth ministry. And when they get 18 years old, they're too old for youth, but they're too young for adult ministries. And so there's that gap of 18 to 22, 23 years old where they fall in the canyon, man, and they get lost and they can actually walk away from the church or you know, not lose their salvation, but lose the traction they have made in gaining a life in Christ. And so, you know, and the cool part about it is if we can find a place for them, we can get them plugged in, they can reach people that I can't reach with my gray hair.
Absolutely.
You know, they can reach people you can't meet with your red and gray beard.
Red and gray.
You know, they just can. You know, they have a whole audience that I have I can't relate to, or they can't relate to me. So, you know, it's important.
Well, and it's so awesome to see, you know, not only the connections they're making right now, but a lot of their dads are here with them.
Right.
And seeing the father-son connection. You know, Jacob Ward that's speaking tonight, his son got baptized too. and he cried like a baby too. So,
Yeah.
but just seeing the father son connections that are happening when we come up here, because there's a lot of freedom. We can do our own thing, but there's also a lot of time these fathers and sons are connecting together up here.
Yeah.
And me and Jacob talked about, man, how cool is this that we're preparing to pass that on? How cool is that going to be? Whether they run this event or what it is, but as they mature, that we're going to get to watch. As dads, we get to pass this on to our kids together, and it's cool, man. It's such amazing.
We kind of get a choice on to what we pass on to them.
We do.
We get a choice in the direction we lead them in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we can get a little ways down the road and have that oh crap moment where we're like, man, I'm leading them in a ditch.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know that.
Yeah. Because you watch me.
I watch you do.
Yeah.
I set that up pretty well, didn't I?
I see.
But it's true. But it's true. I
Yeah.
did. As my
It
kids
is.
were growing up, I came to that point. I was like, something's got to change, and it's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not doing for them what I should do, and so that father and son connection spiritually
Mhm.
is critical. It's important. To carry this on, not necessarily this, but
Right.
the church.
Absolutely.
And men looking after other men and fellowshipping with other men and brotherhood with other men. So
And these young men are facing things that we never had to face. I mean, they've got
it's
so
a
much stuff.
different world.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's in their face everywhere they go, and if we're not investing in them, and planting those seeds and digging those roots now, then we're setting them up for failure. There's nothing that's harder as a dad than to see your son do something and be like, "Crap, it looks just like me."
I know. I know. I can't tell you how many times I have prayed, please don't follow my footsteps.
That's right.
Yeah.
You always hear that cliche, he's following in his dad's footsteps.
No.
Please do not.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blessed. My kids didn't. They followed in my latter footsteps.
Yeah.
And I was thankful for that.
Well, I mean, what was amazing is just somebody this morning was talking about watching these teenagers during the youth or in the worship set, and they were like, "Man, these guys were really into it." And we were talking, I was like, "Man, when I was 17, I would have been the kid in the back row, just like, when do we go play the games? When can we go shoot guns?
Yeah.
We can fish." And there's a lot of them that are so into it. Man, it gets me excited. We've got such a wide range of everything. I mean, from age to background to, it's so cool to see. None of that matters when they walk in here.
Yeah.
Everybody's just worshiping together, growing together.
I thought it was really cool that almost the entire praise band down there is high school kids.
High school or just graduated, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
I
good.
love it.
So
good.
talented.
Yeah.
So talented.
Yeah. So anyhow, so we kind of got off on that subject, but I did want to talk a little bit about IM4, men's movement.
Yeah.
That is not a men's conference. I learned that really quick last year. Again, I was telling Jay out there today, I've been to a ton of men's conferences, but I had never been to anything like that before. Life-changing, period.
Yes.
Life-changing. So IM4 TV is where you can go to register. That's over in Decatur at Epic Church, I guess is where it's going to be again next year, unless something changes. So go on there, you can register. I think it's about $35 to register. Go on and get that done and secure your place for that. What kind of things does Element24 have coming up?
Man, so it's funny. We've struggled with that a lot in the past, and of course when COVID hit, it kind of shut everything down. One thing we're really learning is that we've got a lot of technology at our fingertips.
Yes.
What's amazing about this is we've got people from 9 different states, and we've got from Puerto Rico that's here this weekend. So we're so spread out. So we're gonna take advantage of that. We're gonna start doing some events, some more events throughout the year in person, but we're gonna start doing some some weekly Zoom meetings just to invite guys to come on, and we're gonna talk theology, like what do we really believe? Because there's a lot of guys like, I'm a Christian, but I mean, if you ask them a question, they don't have an answer, and they don't really know what they believe. So we're going to dive into that. We've got a father-son discipleship group that meets every other week. We're going to be doing that as well, just to really emphasize, just pointing to these young kids and helping the fathers disciple their kids. Oh, Dad, I don't know how to do it,
Right.
And so just trying
My
to do
dad
something.
didn't do it for me, so
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I don't have an example to go by.
No, and I mean, like me, you wing it and hope you did it the right way. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
But yeah, we'll do that. Then, our next big retreat's going to be down in Jacksonville, Florida, in February. So excited about that. It's awesome. You can go swimming in February. So we went down there last year and just had a great time. So it's a beautiful facility, right on a big lake down there.
I love it.
So they got that going on. But yeah, we're just looking at things. We've got some speaker events set up here locally that we're going to have in. We're going to do a class on child discipleship, which is I'm really excited about. Kind of put our feelers out there. There was a lot of parents who were like, I really wish I knew how to disciple at elementary age. So we're going to do that. Yeah. And then we're actually going to do another one where it's going to be about a 3-hour lesson on how to share your faith. And then we're going to go to the streets of Chattanooga. And we're going to walk around and we're going to put it to action.
Yeah. Put it to a
practical
use.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's interesting you would say that. Chuck and I have been kind of talking about an idea for our next, for lack of a better term, podcast, video cast, whatever you want to call it, aimed at single men, single guys, and kind of tell them how to prepare themselves for relationships, for good relationships. I can sit here today and I can tell you everything to do if you want to have a terrible relationship. I have that part down. Fortunately, I have learned over the last 20 years or so how to have a better one, thanks to my wife, who has really poured into me. And that was her gift. But there's a lot of young men out there that have no idea what a godly relationship, how that starts, or what that looks like, and what it's looked like to be a young man preparing yourself to go into a relationship. So I think that's where you were thinking. I don't know. That just came
exactly
out.
Where I was thinking.
It is now.
So I think that's interesting that, as you guys are at Element 26 are kind of heading in the direction of let's get these guys when they're young and get them trained up. That's kind of the heart of this ministry too. So who knows what kind of collaboration that might bring. Who knows?
I look forward to it, whatever it is.
Yeah, me too. What else, guys?
She's got a loss.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here and enjoying the scent of gunpowder. Honestly, I can smell it on myself. I probably won't take a shower tonight. But thank you guys for jumping on with us. Again, we're here at Fort Bluff in Dayton, Tennessee, with Travis Uptegrove.
Breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. We do have breakfast in the morning.
Yeah. And that, Your Honor, is when it all started.
But we are here at Fort Bluff at the fall retreat for Element 26. Element26.cc. I don't know if it's set up to begin registration for the next one in the spring or not, but mark that website down, save it to your favorites, whatever. Follow Element 26 Men's Ministry on Facebook, and Travis will keep you updated on the different things. Get involved in the Element 26 Zoom calls.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to be on a few of those, and they're amazing. And I've got to meet some of the guys, up here that are on those, and it's just
we won't
really
talk
cool.
about my first one.
No, because then we'll have to hear about it again all week long. That's what happened last time. Just kept coming up.
Let's see, it was what, Romans?
Was it 12?
12.
Yeah. Everywhere we went. IM4 conference or summit. It was,
I'm sitting at the conference just paying attention. He's like, turning your words to Romans 12. And Travis is like, next section over, same row. And I see him do this. He's like, and I'm like, I hate you.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if God's doing something to you, it ain't my fault.
Oh, so yes, our Ground Zero, our October Ground Zero men's breakfast will be next Saturday. We didn't have it this morning because we're up here, but we will be at the Huddle House at 9:30 in Fort Payne in the meeting room. If you're a dad, come out because you can really gain something from what's going on at those breakfasts with the men that join around that table. And if you're a dad, bring your son. Bring your son. I don't care. We had a 6-year-old boy come with his dad and his grandfather to one of the breakfasts. And it was just amazing. So if you're a dad, bring your son. And if you're a son, bring your dad.
Yeah.
If that's the way it works, if you got to grab him by the arm and say, come on, Dad, we're going to Ground Zero.
Yeah.
Do that. And I promise you'll receive a blessing from it. So, all right. I think we're about ready to jump off here.
Well,
All right. Travis, thank
I
you
love
so
you,
much
man.
for what you
Yeah.
do. I love you, brother, and
Yeah, I love you guys too.
appreciate what this ministry does, and it's just so cool to see, you know, the work that's going on in this ministry.
I'm just excited, like I said, to see what we do together, and you know, with IM4 and the different ministries that are working together.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it for sure.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next Saturday morning from the Huddle House. God bless you.